What's up, YouTube world, or Ranger Nation, as I would say? It's your boy Jerome, and I'm coming to you today with a review for Power Ranger Super Ninja Steel, the Christmas special, and it was titled The Poisy Show. So without further ado, I'm going to get started. Alright, so with this episode, it brings back, it has a return of Sledge, Poisy, and Wretch. So they have come from their dimension back to the dimension that the Rangers are in. And, you know, Madam Odious is defeated. So Sledge is still upset because he was tricked by Madam Odious the last time he was on the Warrior Dome when he fixed it for her. And, you know, she tricked him. He wanted the asteroid that hit it. Well, he thought it was an asteroid, but it was actually the Super Ninja Steel. And, you know, she took the Super Ninja Steel for herself. And, you know, he's back now again. So this time, you know, they get on the Warrior Dome and it's empty, no monsters, no nothing there. And Sledge tells Poisy that this is a Christmas gift for her. She's like, this dump is a Christmas gift for me. We all know how extra Poisy is and how shallow she is and how she's into herself pretty much. So, you know, he basically tells her that that's going to be for her. He's giving her Galaxy Warriors, and it's not going to be Galaxy Warriors anymore. It's going to be the Poisy Show. And that on the Poisy Show, the first guest for her will be none other than the Power Rangers. So he's going to go to Earth and he's going to kidnap the Power Rangers and bring them back to be her guest on the TV show. All right, so we have the Rangers. They are at their school and they have some Christmas gifts that they are going to deliver. And, you know, Sarah says that she got a text from Santa, you know, letting her know that he's on his way. So then, who was that brought them the gift? Jesus Christ. I forgot who brought the gift. Well, they got a gift from Wes Collins, Time Force Red Ranger. And Wes gave them a gift of the transporter devices, which allows the Rangers to go between different dimensions, from their dimension to the RPM dimension and the Dino charge dimensions. So then the Ninja Nexus Prism returns to Earth, and they're like, well, why did the Ninja Nexus Prism return? So the reason that the Nexus Prism returned was to give the Rangers the Power Stars. So I'm guessing that the Ninja Nexus Prism must have sensed evil in Poisy, Wretch, and Sledge and returned to Earth and gave the Rangers their Power Stars. So then Sledge comes to Earth, and, you know, he's telling the Sledge comes to Earth, and then there's this monster that's with him. I think her name is Snowfright. So Snowfright, she blows snow on the Rangers, and the Rangers are all entrapped in some snowmen, and everyone is trapped with the exception of Preston. So Preston, he's not trapped. So then we see Preston. He comes around the car, and he and Sledge start, you know, fighting with each other, and Sledge lunges at him. And when Sledge lunged at him, Preston had the transporter device in his hand. So Sledge activates the transporter device, throwing him and Preston through the transporter devices. Now we see Snowfright. She takes the Rangers back to the Warrior Dome to be guests on Poisy's show, the Poisy Show. All right, so then when it comes to Sledge and Preston, we see them. They go through the portal, like I said earlier, and then we see them. They come out the other side in another dimension, and in this dimension, Sledge is not sure where he is. But I know where Sledge is, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you know where Sledge went to. Sledge went to his dimension where the Dino Charge Rangers are, because you can see the dinosaurs flying around. And I'm like, uh-oh, Sledge, you are back in your dimension. So then also Sledge has the transporter device, and he tells Preston that he's not going back to his dimension. The only way that Preston's going back to his dimension is if Preston gives Sledge the his Power Star, which Preston is not going to do that, obviously. So then, you know, Sledge has his blaster on his hand, and he's pointing it at Preston. And then out of nowhere, there is this big dinosaur that comes through and scoops Preston up and takes Preston away, so that Sledge cannot blast. All right. So now on the Warrior Dome, it is the live episode of the Poisy Show, and it's a Christmas special. So then Poisy talks about how the three boys, Levi, Brody, and Calvin, all fell in love with Venema. And then one of them says, we didn't really fall in love with her, we were under a spell. And then Poisy says, well, that's what all men says. And then she starts talking about Sledge, and she gets upset. And then the Rangers realize, you know, she is so easily worked up by talking about Sledge. If we can just, you know, say bring up anything that has to do with love and relationships, and then insert Sledge somehow. We can get her mad enough, and then eventually, when Sledge returns, she'll turn on Sledge. So then we have Sarah. She mentions that when she and Haley's mom and dad started dating each other, how they tried to break their parents up. And then, at the end of it, Sarah says, what did she say? Oh, she says, I'm pretty sure you and Sledge have never had problems, which that makes Poisandra go into a whole tailspin about the problems that she and Sledge has. All right, so then back into the Dino Charge dimension. Like I said, the dinosaur came through and scooped Preston up and flew off with him. So the dinosaur is still flying with Preston, but then he drops Preston, and he drops him into the arms of none other than Coda, the blue Dino Charge Ranger, which happens to be his actual real life brother, which I have been waiting for this since the crossover episode, but we didn't really have too much interaction with those two in the episode Dimensions in Danger. But now we have a scene, although the season is over, we have a scene with Preston and Coda once together. I'm like, yes, that's what I have been waiting for. So, Preston is Coda asked him how did he get there, and basically Preston is telling him how the transporter device, brought him and Sledge there. And the way that he was talking to Coda, it was like Coda didn't even comprehend what he was saying because he was doing this and all kind of weird little movements. And I'm like, Coda is not, dumb or anything. He understands exactly what you're saying. He just talks like a caveman, which is not, sometimes coherent. Well, I'm not gonna say coherent. It's not full on sentences, but he understands what you're saying. And they both morph so that they can go find Sledge, which was awesome. Both of them are the Blue Rangers, so the Blue Dino Charge Ranger and the Blue Ninja Steel Ranger, which I thought was freaking fantastic. And then we go back to the Poisy show. So Poisandra notices that Haley and Calvin are holding hands. So she says, "You two must be lovebirds," and they say yes. And then they talk about the time that Calvin forgot he and Haley's anniversary, and then how he lied about it, and that upset Poisandra a lot because she started talking about Sledge again. And then once he says that he lied to her and how he would never do that again, he said, "But I bet you Sledge never lied to you." And once again, that sends Poisandra into a whole tailspin about the things that Sledge has lied to her about, which Sledge did lie to her the whole time. And Dino Charge, like, he lied to her a lot. But I'm gonna move on from that. All right, so then both Preston and Coda, they find Sledge, and Sledge blasts at Coda, which makes Coda fall away, leaving Preston by himself. So then Preston is there facing off with Sledge, and then there's this big figure silhouette in the background walking up behind Sledge, and Sledge is like, "What's that?" And he turns around, and it was a dinosaur, which I thought it might have been Rexy from what Tyler used to call his Zord, but it wasn't Rexy. So when Sledge sees that dinosaur, Sledge drops the transporter device and he takes off running. I'm like, why is Sledge afraid of a dinosaur? But okay, if you say so. So Coda returns. And he's like, because Preston is, kind of afraid of the dinosaur. And Preston, not Levi. Coda comes back up and he says, "Oh, this is my friend Gruya." And, the dinosaur licks him and he leaves. So, then Coda notices that Sledge dropped the transporter device. So he picks up the transporter device and he opens it up. And they go through is it a time hole, wormhole? Whichever one they go through. So they go through it, and then Sledge follows right in behind them. And we hear Sledge talking to Wretch about getting the other power stars. He just needs the blue power star, and he can also get the blue inner gem. And then Poisandra overhears that, and she's like, "So this was all a ploy just to get the you were distracting me just so you can get these power stars." And Sledge is like, "No, I didn't do that." So while Sledge and Poisandra are arguing with one another, we see Coda. He is freeing the other Rangers, and they get their power stars, and then they morph, and they do a spell, and they leave from where they are, and then they go down the trash chute. And when they go down the trash chute, Snow Fright falls in behind them and goes to Earth with them. And then we see Sledge. He is about to call for the Vivix, but he realizes he's in another dimension and he has no Vivix. So he calls for the Basherbots. So the Basherbots go to Earth with Snow Fright. So then the Rangers, when they get in the trash chute, they fall into Santa's sleigh. And Santa takes the Rangers back home to Earth. And, you know, Coda is talking about a present that he has for Sledge. So Santa says he'll help Coda with the present for Sledge. So then on Earth, the Rangers are fighting Snow Fright. They defeat Snow Fright. And then, you know, back on the Warrior Dome, Sledge is looking for a magma beam, which there's not one on there. That's not his ship. But then Wretch says, you know, I didn't find a magma beam, but I did find this Gigantify machine. So then they Gigantify Snow Fright. The Rangers call him the Megazord. And then, you know, again, Snow Fright tries to entrap them into some snowmen. But this time, Calvin just decides to call him the Ultrazord. So they formed the Ultrazord. But when they formed it, they were imprisoned in this big snowman. But they blasted free from the snowman. And with the final attack, they defeat Snow Fright. Now back on the Warrior Dome, we see Coda there. He has a gift that he leaves for Sledge. So I'm gonna move on from there. All right, so last two scenes, I'm gonna put them two together. I'm gonna talk about them in one whole scene. So Sledge, he's apologizing to Posandra for everything, and then Wretch comes in there with the gift that Coda left for Sledge and Posandra and Wretch. So, you know, Wretch says, I have a gift, you know, Sledge, here's a gift for Posandra that you had. And, you know, he's like, Sledge is taking credit for the gift, knowing good and well he did not buy Posandra a Christmas gift. So, you know, Posandra gets the gift, and then she opens the card, and in the card is from the Rangers, and Posandra's like, you didn't give me this gift, the Rangers sent this gift. And then Wretch opens the gift, and it's a bomb, like what Sledge said on Power Rangers Dino Charge. I will never get over that. So it was a bomb, and it blew up the Warrior Dome. So that is the end of Sledge, Posandra, and Wretch. So then back on Earth, you know, Santa has delivered the presents, and then Coda says that Santa helps him get a present for the Rangers. So he gives each and every one of them a gift, and they open it, and it's a, you know, caveman attire, a caveman shirt, a caveman outfit with a club. And he tells the Rangers that, you know, they're family, and he wants them to come home with him for a caveman Christmas. So that was the episode. I really enjoyed it. It was not a corny Christmas episode like they usually do. It was actually a really good episode. So that is it for Power Rangers Super Ninja Steel. So now we are going to move over into Power Rangers Beast Morphers starting February of 2019. There has been some news about the toys that'll be released. The main toys that I'm really looking forward to is the Megazord and the Morpher. Those are the two that I'm most looking forward to. So when the toys do come out, the ones that I do get, which I do plan on getting the Megazord, and I do plan on getting the Morpher. I don't know 100% if I'm gonna buy the Ranger, the end of, you know, the figure Rangers, like the Red Ranger, the blue, the yellow, the gold, or the silver. I'm not 100% positive if I'm gonna buy them. If they catch my eye, I will buy them. If not, it'll just be like I said, the Morpher and the Zords. And when I get those, I will come back and I will give a review of them and to let you guys know how I feel about them and how I like them. So until we meet each other again in February, have a great Christmas, have a Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, and have a great and prosperous New Year. And I will see you guys again in February of 2019 for Power Rangers Beast Morphers.